Derek, so how have you coped with freezing conditions this week in preparation for Saturday's game?
Yeah, the same as most teams at the lower end of our table. We've been on AstroTurf, but a lot of the time it's with trainers on rather than boots because the surface is still frozen. But we've been able to get a bit of work done for the players, and it's got them out in the cold and got them breathing.
Does it change your plans much, though, in terms of tactics, preparation, that sort of thing? Obviously, you're on AstroTurf, it's a bit different.
Yeah, it does, because we don't get to do the same work as you would do if it was not frozen. But it's just something that you have to deal with. You get the players moving, and that we've done that this week.
How frustrating was it to lose last week's game?
Yeah, I mean, we knew that was going to be a possibility that the game would be off, and it's the temperature didn't increase, and the pitch was solid, and it wasn't going to get any better for Saturday. It was only going to get worse, and the right decision was made on Friday.
The last time we talked before that game, we were looking back at the Exeter game and talking about being more clinical, getting the second goal. Is that still been the focus of your preparations for this week?
Yeah, I mean, we always have to look at that because of the amount of times that we have been ahead in games, and we've been able to be pegged back by the opposition. We understand that, but as you say, to get that second goal, it would allow us to have, a bigger margin.
Plymouth, a club close to your heart. They seem to be genuine promotion contenders this year, but they've had quite a rocky patch recently, haven't they? After a good start.
Yeah, a fantastic club, to sit second in the table after, they're nearly the halfway stage is fantastic, and they've done ever so well because it's a difficult division, and my time there, I was there for 4 seasons and really enjoyed it, and I think that always going back there is an enjoyment for me.
So is it a good time to play them, do you think, with this sort of, I think they've struggled to win since, is it Halloween, I think?
Yeah, I don't think there's any time good to play a team at the top of the table, but we go there, we've come off a draw against the local rivals in Exeter, and we'll have to go there and be at the top of our game.
And it is about winning games, isn't it? We've talked about this before. It seems to be a theme now, doesn't it? Turning draws into wins.
Yeah, well, it does. You just have to look at the league table, and the league table tells you that Peterborough have lost more games than us this season, 10 games, and they sit in 6th position, but they've won 10. And our problem has been that we haven't turned the draws into wins. There's a number of teams that have lost more games than us, and there's a number of teams that haven't picked up points in the games that we have. We've picked up points in 11 games this season. Some teams have only picked up points in 7, 8 and 9 games. So that tells you how competitive we have been. We haven't been able to get the wins, but going back to my Plymouth Argyle days, we were sitting 2017 in December, bottom of League One and on 17 points. We're bottom of League One on 15 points. We ended up 7th in the league. So that tells you, with 26 games to go, there's a lot of points to play for us, a lot of a season to go. So never judge a team at the halfway stage, always judge a team at the end.
That experience from your point of view and that you can pass on to the players must be invaluable, mustn't it? How you can turn things around like you did at Plymouth.
Yeah, I mean, we've spoken to the players about that. At that time at Plymouth, as here, we had, illness, injury, and new players coming in. It just takes time to bed in, and it just shows you the turnaround that can happen. And we sat down with the players on Monday. I went through that with them, and sometimes you don't understand that as a younger player. The turnaround that you can have, and we finished 3 points off a promotion place.
So with that in mind, how important is it to have a good Christmas? Arguably, the Plymouth game is the start of the Christmas schedule. It's a busy time. People often say it defines your season. Would you agree with that then? Or is it about momentum after Christmas?
Well, people say it's the start of the season is important, the middle of the season is important. You know what I mean? Everything's important. It doesn't matter where you are in the season. You want to pick up the wins. I've just explained, where we were with Plymouth Argyle in 2017, where we are now with Morecambe. But there's a long way to go in the season. 26 games, a fantastic amount of points to be played for.
So I guess you'd like to be at least a lot closer to safety come the end of the Christmas and New Year period.
We'll see where we are. You would like to be, out of that relegation zone and be up. We've got a lot of tough games. We understand that, but there's a lot of points to be played for. It's you look at the teams that are coming back towards us. We closed the gap last week in the league table without playing, but we moved a couple of positions down.
So the message is don't panic.
Well, listen, I don't have to say that because I've obviously vastly experienced in football management, so I understand the logic of what happens, but we have to turn our draws into wins now.
Injuries wise, absence wise, how are you looking?
We still got Ash Hunter and Courtney out. Other than that, we look like we've got a full bill of health from that.